Hey everybody, welcome to the Rich and Turbo Heavy Half Hour. I am Rich. You can find me on X at FuzzDoomRip and on all the other socials at rich.piva as a Doom Charge contributor and doing reviews for Musipedia of Metal. My partner Turbo is having some technical issues, but hopefully he'll be able to join. But the real guest of honor here is, we'll say, bassist from the legendary Zed and also now solo artist, Mark Aceves.
Yeah.
How are you, Mark?
Great. Thanks for having me, Rich. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you, and thank you for... no one can see all of the technical issues and changes that we've had, so appreciate all of your flexibility in making this happen.
Not a problem.
So, this is exciting. You have a solo record coming out that's dropping on Friday, the June 27th.
Yep.
It's called the very excellently titled Magnum Dopus. 9 tracks of what I would call, in the best possible way, all over the place. You got some fuzziness, you got a little punk, you got some melodic stuff, you got, Fu Manchu type stuff. Tell us about the new record and how this came to be, if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I never started out to release a solo album or even consider myself like a solo artist. I've been in bands for my entire life, and I've always enjoyed and really loved that. And this kind of the genesis of this album kind of starts back in 2023 when my drummer for Zed, longtime drummer for Zed, Sean Boyles, passed away just suddenly, unexpectedly. He had like a brain aneurysm type of thing that happened. Our
condolences to you on that. That was terrible.
Appreciate it, and that really hit us hard. He was also besides being a drummer, he was a stand-up comedian. So I figured that him going on my birthday was his last joke. And but that really hit us hard. And Zed was we were in the middle of we had a bunch of new songs that we were kind of putting together with him, and that just took the wind out of those sails for a while. And then it took about a year, but we kind of had I had a revelation one night. I had a dream that I was at a show and I was watching a band, and all of a sudden I look to my side and my left, and I see Sean. And he looks at me and he says, "It's time to get the band back together." And so I woke up and I was like, whoa, that's a definite message from beyond. So we talked to a few different people, and we found a friend of ours that was, that knew Sean, that was, hey, he was a drummer, and he was like, I'll do it. So we started getting back together and started teaching him the songs. But in the middle of all that, I kind of started getting interested in recording on my own. I hadn't done that in a long, long time, in 20 years. So I decided just to start recording, and then in January of this year, I kind of had this revelation, and I think it was just because I have this habitual thing where every Friday I'll go listen on Apple Music. I'll go listen to new releases in metal and hard rock and punk and stuff. And and maybe this is because I'm getting older or something, but I was where a lot of this new stuff doesn't feel fun. There's something that's missing in it for me. So I was you know what? I want to write something. I want to write a song that just is a celebration of life and just about having fun. So the first song I wrote for this, and I wasn't even thinking about writing an album, but the first song I wrote was a song called "Still Ain't Dead," and it's basically, lyrically, it's I wanted it to be like an '80s teen rebellion kind of movie, that was the lyrical context where it was just we're tired of the day job, waiting for Friday. I want to get out and party and have fun because you know what? I'm still not dead. I'm still alive. We're here. Let's have a good time. And I wanted it to be something that people could listen to and hear and could really just shake their ass to. And that's, that was the genesis of it all. And then you know, the next song I wrote was the one called Taxi Driver, which was just kind of like a punkish thing, almost like a. There's two songs on here that on the album that are kind of about my relationship with my wife. It's about like love. That's one of them. And then then the next thing I wrote was the very first song on the album, which is called the true and indisputable meaning of rock and roll, and that starts the album out. In fact, there's a snippet of one of my old drummer Sean's podcasts that kind of sets the tone for the entire album. And I was listening to his podcast after he had passed away one day, and he was just talking about, you know, playing music, and he was just like, and that phrase just, it hit me. I was like, that, I need to use that, you know, whether it's on a Zed thing or it's on another thing, but that's gonna start my album. And so I put that in the front, and that first song is kind of weird because it talks about shaking your ass, but it also but you know, and it's kind of figurative. Well, it's literal, but also figurative in that, you know, it's the song about like get up and do something, get up and fight back, and like don't go gentle into the night. And so it's like my and I'm gonna get emotional, but it's like my tribute to Sean and also my father, who I lost last year as well. So
that's amazing. And the thing that I love about this record, there's a lot of things. One of the things is that it almost seems like it's therapeutic, and it like is fun out of tragedy. I lost my father last year as well, and what I've kind of done is tried to focus not on being sad about it, and more just focused on living and doing stuff and enjoying things. And I feel like this record kind of, and I'm kind of pushing this in my own narrative, but almost therapeutic in a way to get some of this stuff out there. Would that be accurate? Or
yeah, absolutely. There wasn't, you know, everything that I did on the album, at various points I would step back and say, you know, would Sean dig this? And, you know, because he was kind of like he was my bullshit checker, right? So anything that I didn't think that would fly with him, I wouldn't do. And even to the point where I really wanted just like, I wanted the songs, and it's, you know, I've never had like a creative burst like I did with this, like in my entire like life. Like they all just came together one after the other, and I don't know where they came from. Like I wasn't a singer before, and you know, I'd never tried really to like sing, and I mean, but I couldn't like trust this to like, I couldn't say, hey man, can you go sing my songs for me? Like they're from my heart, you know, and so I had to do them, and that was the hardest part, was getting over my discomfort of standing up. Luckily, I have this office run by myself most of the day, so that I can pretend the outside world doesn't exist and just let it go. But that was the hardest part for me, was just like being able, trying to say, or at least, you know, I'm not even close to like a Chris Cornell or anything. At best, I'm like a low rate Lemmy.
That should be a song you should write, Low Rate Lemmy. That sounds like a wonderful song.
Flea Market Lemmy, but like I did it, and I was like, okay, this doesn't sound nearly as bad as I was expecting, so I'm just gonna run with it. And like all the lyrics, you know, like my dad's influence, you know, my dad was always a fighter. My dad was a boxer when he was young. He was a fighter in everything in his life, and you know, I just wanted to do something that honored him as well. And so that's the whole spirit, is about like just getting back up after you've been kicked to the ground, and just, so yes, it is very therapeutic. I guess that's the short answer, is yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
A lot of therapy for me.
Turbo, you're with us now. You can hear us. We're all good?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Loud and clear. Here's Turbo. Turbo, we've been chatting about the new record, Magnum Dopus, and just kind of where it came from and how it came to be. This time it's not my fault that I've dominated the interview so far. This was the technology's fault. So what do you have for Mark?
He he did all the vocals, everything,
Yeah.
the background vocals and everything.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of cool. Even though you said you weren't you're more of a Lemmy than a Chris, then there's still some cool stuff going on with your vocals and stuff that you did in the background. Um, but did you decide to do some of that because you wanted to kind of lighten the mood to it? Because without it, it seems like it's a very heavier album if you took away the background uh, vocals and stuff.
Like at the same time as growing up in like the metal scene and the punk scene, like I was always a fan of the bands that that had really great vocals and could do like harmonies and vocal harmonies and you know like one of my favorite bands is like The Cure and like just and he he sings off key a lot intentionally, but the backing vocals are always strong. Like all that like 80s like new wave and punk, a lot of that has really like great melodic background vocals, and that's just that influence. And like because I'd be recording it and all of a sudden I'd hear like these different like these melodies in my head. I'm like, oh, that I gotta try that, and it mostly worked.
That's killer. Yeah, it did. Turned out great.
Hey, thanks. I
So
appreciate that.
you opened up the door. Favorite Cure record, if you had to call one Cure record out?
That is a difficult question, but I'm probably going to have to default to the one that I discovered them with, which is "Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me," because and every song on that album are like just classics to me, and it also like what they did. They created soundscapes that were just in almost like cinematic, but in the form of like 3-minute pop songs, right?
Yeah.
And just the sonic diversity that they were able to do with every record is just like it's inspirational. Like they never got. I feel at least the first. I mean, yeah, they never got stuck in a rut.
I agree, and that's why I have every Cure record that I can get, except for the ones that are like $300 these days. But like Disintegration, that's the way I feel about that record. Like it just creates like this world that is kind of built around everything that you're doing while you're listening to that record, and it just kind of takes over. You mentioned the Cure and melodic stuff, which brings me to a song like Daisies, which to me shows that you understand and love melody. And that was kind of a cool thing that you don't get from Zed, right? You don't get that kind of almost poppy song.
Right.
Were you channeling anything with that one, or was that just something that kind of came to you?
Um, I I wanted I Nirvana is another big influence. I love Nirvana because I was there before. I remember hearing them before they got big, and then after they changed the world. And Daisies is kind of like my ode to Nirvana. It's like a short, sweet, and just like it just musically, it just came together. It's like a Nirvana / Dinosaur Jr. homage because that's another band that I love from the '90s that are amazing, and I initially I had this like idea for a guitar solo in it that was kind of going to be like me pretending to be Jay Mascis from Time.
Which is very hard for anybody in the world to do.
Right? But I was like, you know what? The song doesn't need it. It's really good, just straightforward. And then when I was thinking about the vocals, like my approach to the vocals, it's like I want to, the way my goal for writing is creating something that's gonna like be as easy to remember as like an earworm, like a kid's lullaby is. Like all these songs, like lullabies and like all these like kids like songs, they stick in your head, obviously, right? Because they're super simple, straightforward, and that's just kind of me in a nutshell. Like I'm not like I'll never be like a prog guy. I'll never play like Tool. Even though I probably can on the bass because I'm a bassist first. But, you know, even my bass approach on this album was less is more. Feed the song, serve the song, not your ego. Like I dumbed down a lot of my bass parts because normally I'd be like super, because I'm a finger player normally, and I'd be all over the place. You hear that in Zed, but like this, I played with a pick, and I intentionally didn't overdo it because I wanted the song to be what people like would focus on. I didn't want me as a bass player. I didn't want it to be about me, and I didn't want it to be about my ego. So, and that's also why I thought of the name Magnum Dopus, because I was in the shower one day when I was almost done recording these. I was like, man, you know, these songs, I feel like they're like kind of some of the best things I've ever done. It's kind of like my Magnum Opus. And then in my head, another voice said, "No, dude, it's more like your Magnum Dopus. Don't let it blow your head up, you idiot." So, I was like, yeah,
love it.
Magnum Dopus.
It's funny now that you mentioned Nirvana and Dinosaur Jr. I can see like Daisies being something on like an Incesticide when Kurt was trying to be more that kind of 2-minute pop song melodic side, or something like The Wagon from Green Mind, Dinosaur Jr. Like something like that. Again, you opened up the door. So, favorite Dinosaur Jr. record?
I love Bug. But Green Mind, man, that, you know, and even some of their later stuff, like Farm, that's a great record.
Yeah.
They haven't had any duds on their later stuff. And that happens to a lot of bands, you know, like, I mean, I can't really listen. I'd never go back and listen to Book of Souls or any of the Senjutsu by Iron Maiden. And I'm a lifelong Maiden fan. But like I don't go back to it. But like the new Dinosaur stuff, I like, oh yeah, I can groove along to that anytime.
Yeah, there are no duds in the Dinosaur catalog, and the cool thing now is like they've been like almost adopted by like the psych stoner scene. Like you see Dinosaur Jr. like headlining like Levitation Fest and all of these other things, which is very cool because they're definitely adjacent to the scene there. So.
And
very cool stuff.
That Jay Mascis is in Witch, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, there is that actual connection there too. So, very, very cool. Turbo, what else you got from Mark?
Yeah, I dig the fact that you do a Lee Fields cover, a big Lee Fields cover.
Oh, you caught that? Oh, that's cool. Like, I haven't really told many people that it's a cover.
Yeah, I love it because he took it. He seems like he made it more raw and bloody compared to how his version of it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, it was awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. That's me and my wife love Lee Fields, and we go see him. And every time he plays live, they do like an extended version of that, and it's so heavy, like without being like heavy like distortion wise. It's just heavy like it just creates a heavy atmosphere. And I was like, man, this song is just begging for like a heavy treatment. So. I'm sure, you know, I'm sure Lee Fields would be like, "You ruined my song," but like, I just do it out of love, man. I couldn't, and vocally that was the hardest thing to do because I can't come near to what he does on the vocals. So like, I'm just yelling my ass off.
It works.
Yeah, it turned out really great.
Absolutely works. Turbo, we had one of the songs, we did it ahead of time because we got to hear the record early. What was the song? Because we have a classic, future classic song every episode, and we picked one of your songs. I believe it was last episode. Which song did we pick that nobody got to hear because it was not released yet? Was it the track one, right?
Yeah, the one that I can't ever remember.
There's a lot of words.
The long title one.
Yeah.
But it was funny because Turbo picks the future classic song and not realizing that we had the promo of it early and is announcing this song to the world, and unfortunately it was just a big gigantic tease. Right?
Oh. I wouldn't have minded if you would have played it. That would have been fine.
No, it's no, we love the record, and you talk about how kind of how this is personal. Obviously, for my children, is not subtle of what you're going for there. But how did that one come about?
I just, I play. Funny, when the pandemic started, my daughter, she's 16 now, so that was 2020. She was like 10. She was always ever since she was like born, she was always a little singer. In fact, I have video from when she was like 1.5 and 2, watching Shrek and singing along, and I remember saying, "Man, she's got really good pitch control." Like, that's it. You can hear it in the video. And so she grew up, and she's growing up, and we started doing songs together, like cover songs during the pandemic, where my wife would film, and we'd just be sitting there, and she'd be singing, and I'd be playing guitar. And so we always have an acoustic guitar in the house. And now she doesn't even need me. Now she plays guitar and sings on her own. So I'm relegated to the back house. But when I was recording, I was like, I wanted to do something for my kids, almost like a legacy thing for when I'm not here, and they can hear me still. And so I just the music, the acoustic, what I'm playing on the guitar is something I used to play them when they were babies.
Oh, and, cool. Very cool.
Different things to them, but then like I kind of I rewrote the lyrics to be like now, and kind of like, my message for you when you're growing up, to like, for my son, to find your home, find your place. It's almost like it's almost like my version of Simple Man by Skinner. Mm-hmm. But it's acoustic, and it's for both my kids, my son and my daughter, and I wanted to tribute or give words of wisdom to my son, and then to my daughter, and then to the both of them at the same time. And it's funny, like when I recorded that, I had no idea that I was going to have to stop recording and start over like 3 or 4 times, because I would get emotional and my voice would crack. I'd lose it. Even though I'm sitting in the studio by myself, and I'd be like, "Fuck, I got to start over. I got to get through it."
I mean, it just goes to how personal these songs are for you, and again, that kind of therapeutic feel of what you get out of the record, because it feels so. Even though you're having a ton of fun, and there's a lot of kind of those punky kind of have fun vibes, there's also like these deeply personal things that you, without even knowing anything, I get from the record. So just very cool stuff. Turbo, what else you got?
I'm looking forward to the new video, because you put a teaser out today for it on Instagram.
Yeah.
I like the other video you did where we got the roller derby and the roller skating rink and everything. That was really cool.
Yeah, thanks.
That was are you doing these all by yourself, or are you having somebody doing for you?
I'm doing it all by myself. Like when I was in Zed, I decided to like teach myself video editing and stuff. So I kind of just dusted those skills off for these, and it's been fun. Like all that footage of the roller derbies and stuff like that. It's been fun to put it together and put it to the music, and just make it look kind of real gritty.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Thanks.
Did you do the animation on the? Is it animated coming up for the other song, or is
the one I did for Hail Mary is animated, and I used an AI tool. I know a lot of people are steering away from AI, but I'm a one-man show, and I can't afford to hire out studios to do this stuff. So if I can figure out a way to do it myself, I will. And so I used AI for Hail Mary, and then for the next one, the Love in the Time of Apocalypse, it's not animated. It's more like frame to frame, but it kind of tells the story that I wanted to tell about what the lyrics are about. It pretty much spot on, like just about, and it's all like it's all. This one's like one of the more storytelling ones, because obviously we're not in an apocalypse, but like about how in a way, like love itself is outlawed, period, right? And so like there's you gotta you gotta do it in secret, and you gotta be careful, and they'll catch you, and it's kind of like a Big Brother kind of apocalyptic thing, like it's the end of the world. And so it was also like I kind of also wrote this in one for my wife, because it's where I basically profess my eternal love for her in the song. She's the love of my life. So yeah. But yeah, that's why I was like, what am I going to call this? I'm just going to call it kind of a twist on that old book title, that Love in the Time of Cholera. I'm going to call it Love in the Time of Apocalypse.
We can hope that by the time this airs that we're not in an apocalypse. Like at any point in time, it seems like that might be a thing that could happen. We would get yelled at by our listeners if we didn't ask you a little bit about Zed and what's going on with Zed.
Sure.
And again, we talked about kind of the tragedy that you guys have gone through. Is Zed still a thing? Are you guys still thinking about doing something? And
yeah, in fact, we're about 6 songs in, completed with a new drummer, and we'll be going into the studio like pretty soon. We were planning on getting into the studio this summer. It's probably going to be closer to the fall. But yeah, I'm really excited about those songs, and that's also, it's going to be great because it's going to be a tribute to Sean as well, because it's like taking the songs that he wrote with us and being able to realize them with a new drummer, and as well as taking our new drummer Dave's influence and style on the songs, and I think you guys are going to like what we're going to have coming out, and that's probably going to come out on Ripple Music as well.
Nice. Yeah, you guys have been kind of one of the stalwarts of Ripple, and such a great match. Do we know drummer Dave from anywhere else? Is he new to the scene, or?
I think he's definitely new to the scene. He's a guy that we've known in the Bay Area for a long time. He's been playing in local bands in the Bay Area as a singer mostly, but he was a touring drummer back in the 90s for like a band called Spike 1000 that you might remember from back in the day.
No.
Kind of like a new metal kind of thing.
It sounds like a new metal kind of thing. Spike 1000, isn't it?
I just think it's funny that it's a guy named Dave. He's a singer, but he was a drummer in the '90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've heard of a couple of guys or a guy like that, right? Hopefully he's cooler than that guy who fooled everyone into thinking he was such a nice guy, but that's a whole other story. That's very cool. We're very excited that Zed is still a thing, selfishly, obviously, and that you guys are able to push forward with, after that loss, and assuming that's going to be kind of therapeutic just for you guys also getting out there and playing some of those songs.
Yeah, and it's been a challenge. It was a challenge because, we were just coming off of, not doing much because of the pandemic, and we had just started playing shows again, and like it was 2 weeks after our appearance at the San Diego Heavy Fest, and I'm just glad my last in life encounter with Sean was hugging him, and after that show when we landed back here, we just gave him a big hug, told him I loved him, and we'll see him soon. And unfortunately, didn't get to see him soon, but we are definitely going to honor him and honor the songs, and I think you're going to like what's going to come out.
Very cool that he can live on in what you guys are going to do in Zed and what you're doing in your solo record. So very, very cool stuff. Are you back to your solo record? Again, Magnum Dopus. It drops on Friday, the 27th.
Yeah.
Are you going to do any physical media for it, or are you just going digital for now, or what are you thinking there?
I was just doing digital at first, but I've had a number of people ask me if I was going to do a physical release, and And I'm like, maybe I should think about it because there seems to be a little bit of interest around it already.
You could sell 250, let's say like purple and yellow splatter vinyl of that.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's like, well,
Yeah.
to do a vinyl run, it's gonna have to be purple and yellow.
Yeah, you could absolutely do that. And looking at the cover, and as we're talking, and you kind of mentioning some of the bands that you love, it's a 90s cover. Like, I'm looking at that record and it screams like 1994 to me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you went in that way or if Turbo you agree, but that looks like something that you would have saw on a CD cover back in the day.
That's awesome. It's funny. That picture is me at my 6th birthday at McDonald's.
Oh, I love it.
More, and I did it because I looked like a little idiot, and it's more things about keeping me humble, right?
I love it. Absolutely love it. It's a great cover, and yes, it screams purple and yellow splatter vinyl for sure.
Yeah.
Turbo, anything else that you have for Mark while we have him?
I believe we covered everything, man. I appreciate the work you've done, and we really enjoy this album. It kicks a whole lot of ass.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. It means a lot that that you guys could listen to it and really understand what I'm trying to do with it, and it means a lot to me. And thank you guys for like supporting the scene and just the interest, because it's hard for like small bands and stuff out there. Like, they think half the time they're like, this doesn't matter, no one's listening, but it's good to get the affirmation from guys like you. So
yeah, it does matter, and that's why we do this. We do this because we love the music, we love talking with the people who make it, and we want to try to get it out there as much as possible. So
chances are we are listening, me and Rich.
Yeah, we are definitely listening there, and we will force people to listen, and then they will love it as well. They just need to hear it, know that it exists, and I think you'll get your Zed fans, but you'll get others as well, because there's a lot to really love about this record. So, in summary, Magnum Dopus, Aceves, your solo record, it drops on Friday, June 27th. You have a listening party on Bandcamp, right? Tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Is that correct? June 25th?
10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific.
I have not done a Bandcamp listening party. Is it just you play the record? Do you talk, or like?
There's like a chat. There's like a chat window, so you can chat with people.
Cool. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, I just figured, let's see what that's about. I don't even know if anybody's going to go to it, but
no, I'm sure there absolutely will be. And again, for all of our listeners, the record is excellent. It's heartfelt, it's emotional, it's heavy, but it's also like super fun. So you somehow been able to make a super fun record out of just such a personal and emotional time. So congratulations on it. Love it. Please come back and talk to us again.
Sure.
Love to talk to you about all the music you love. When Zed's getting ready, let's do a Zed show. And
absolutely, yeah. I'll bring the guys from Zed in, and we'll chat.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you for your time. Aceves, Magnum Dopus, Friday. Go to the listening party tomorrow night. Thank you for your time, Mark.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes.